Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to this very quick video today. Just going to be a quick flash in the pan.
It's kind of just us yapping the whole time, not gonna lie.
By the end of this video, just to keep you guys interested and entertained and keep you watching till the very end, you're going to see me, yes me, all 23 stone of me levitate. Yes, I'm going to float ever so slightly off the ground. So make sure you stay tuned for that. This is not an April Fool's, or that was yesterday. This is very much real.
Yeah, we're filming this on the 2nd.
So I'm glad you joined us, because we got some conspiracy video theories. There was going to be more. I think there's only 2 today. So, conspiracies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, excuse Holly's Christmas pajamas.
They're really comfortable, and I'm matching with my friend. In spirit.
Right guys, so our first video we're going to watch, our first conspiracy theory...
is one that I have a lot of things to say about.
Good, that's what I like to hear. It's flat Earth, okay? Is flat Earth actually a thing?
Centuries, it's been accepted that the Earth is a globe, but a surprising number of people today believe otherwise. Could the Earth actually be flat? The idea that the Earth is flat dates back to ancient civilizations. Early maps depicted a flat, disc-shaped Earth, with the sky as a dome above it. Many ancient cultures, including the Greeks and Egyptians, initially believed in a flat Earth. It wasn't until the classical era that the concept of a spherical Earth gained traction. Advancements in astronomy and navigation eventually led to the widespread acceptance of a spherical Earth. Key figures like Copernicus and Galileo played crucial roles in shifting this perspective. So why do some people today still believe the Earth is flat? Let's take a closer look at the arguments presented by flat earthers. Flat Earth proponents argue that the Earth appears flat when observed from the ground. They claim that modern images of a round Earth are fabrications by space agencies. Flat Earthers believe that space agencies like NASA are part of a massive conspiracy to hide the true nature of our world. They question the authenticity of photos and videos from space. Flat Earthers also point to certain anomalies they believe cannot be explained by a spherical Earth. These include flight routes and the behavior of water. What are your thoughts on the flat Earth theory?
Well, then, if you're talking about space being a conspiracy, how come we have legit photos of the Earth being round? Also, if you watch a David Attenborough documentary, which I probably think they never have, to be fair, then you see that the Earth is round because he legit, sends up, cameras up into space.
Yeah, I mean, I get why people think that pictures of the Earth are fake, because the stuff you can do nowadays with, AI and computers and everything is really, really impressive. What I don't understand is how the whole flat Earth theory is kind of becoming more and more dominant over time. Surely it should be the opposite way around. I think
it's because people are getting stupider.
People are getting stupider, which is another thing that leads on to another conspiracy theory that I have planned later on. So, here's my 2 cents about it, okay?
I've got one more thing after this.
Okay, good. Imagine a tennis ball, right? Mm-hmm. It's yay big, right? Imagine it's scaled to the size of Earth, right?
Yeah.
And imagine a human, right, like me or you, scaled down to the size, of a tennis ball, but in relevant scale, right?
Yeah.
So the amount you have to scale up the tennis ball to Earth, scale the human down the same amount to a tennis ball. Right?
Yeah, so we're little people on the tennis ball.
Minuscule. You probably couldn't even see it.
We're flies on the tennis ball.
With your naked eye, right? You'd have to have a microscope to see a single person. Given that, the tennis ball would look incredibly flat. Very, very flat. As far as the eye can see, flat. The horizon, flat. Which is what we do see, right? But when you go on a plane, because I realised this when we were going to Dallas, right? I was like, why aren't we just going straight? Why do we have to go the long way round, like a big curve, right? The reason for that is because you are going in a straight line,
But the
straight line
Earth is curved.
yeah, exactly. What were you going to say? What was your other point?
Also, when you look at the sunset, the sun has to go somewhere, and then the moon comes up. It's circular.
Yeah.
Because right now, yeah, the sun is coming up for Americans or like people on the other side of the country to us. If you get me? Because the... Let's look. Yeah.
It's dark.
It's dark, guys. So, it's dark for us now, but it's pretty like, I don't know, like just morning time for like Americans, Australians. And if we're flat, we'd still be able to see the sun.
The only other final thing I want to say is I fairly recently watched a counter video for the flat earth theory. So someone who is a scientist who obviously believes the earth is a globe and is round. Basically, they did an experiment with really high intensity light, right? They shone it through this like piece of paper, right? And it went to a certain spot, right? Now, for it to make it to that certain spot, right, would have to be a complete straight line. Right? No bend, no curve, no nothing. So I think what they did is they took this piece of paper thing that the light was shining through and they put it further away. And when I say further away, I mean a lot further away, to the point where you would start to notice the natural curvature of the earth. And as you would expect for a globe, for a round ball that we're floating on, it didn't meet the hole that it did meet when it was closer. Leading to it being curved.
We have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or at 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as... we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting. Interesting there. That's interesting.
Gravity obviously exists, right? So look.
What's going to be loud?
Gravity exists, right? Okay, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I hope everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people can agree on things these days, but I hope we can all agree on gravity.
Yeah, well.
Oh yes. So, because we have gravity, we stay stuck to the Earth. Right? The Earth is spinning, right? For us here, it may seem that we are at some points upside down.
Yeah.
But when you're in space, there is no such thing as the right way up and upside down.
Yeah. You just kind of like
know,
if you get me.
Exactly. My final point about the flat Earth thing, okay, is why. Why? So, way back when people started really debating whether the Earth was round or flat, and people did experiments to find out it was round, la-di-da-di-da. Why would the government, any government, want to trick people into thinking the world is round?
Because the government keeps secrets from us all the time, like Area 51.
Fantastic, I love that. That's an interesting secret to keep. I'm sure some really cool, dodgy stuff happens in Area 51. But the fact, flat Earth, round Earth, really doesn't actually change anyone's life. We're still living. If it turns out, oh yeah, they have been lying to us and it is a flat Earth, what's going to change? Apart from textbooks and what you learn in school.
I don't know, but there must be a deeper meaning.
Right, so I think there's 2 videos to watch for this one, and it is who built the pyramids? Was it the Egyptians? Was it aliens? Was it someone else? Let's take a look at this.
You know who built the Great Pyramid, don't they?
No, they don't. No, they definitely don't. Archaeologists have attributed it to certain pharaohs, but there's a lot of problems with that. The Great Pyramids, they said they think they're tombs, but there's no evidence they're tombs. They've never found, like, pharaohs in them or anything.
chambers. They have burial chambers.
No. Those are different areas. That's not the pyramids. Not the
Okay.
pyramids themselves. The pyramids are so massive. There's 2,300,000 stones.
Yeah, Great Pyramid was the tallest building on Earth until like 1860, I think.
There's stones that were cut from a quarry that was 500 miles away. They cut obelisks that were like thousands of tons. They moved them through the mountains and got them hundreds of miles away. They have no idea how they did that. They were probably very sophisticated, but in a different way than us. They probably had technology that we haven't figured out yet because we went to combustion engines and electricity, and that's how we figured out how to use human creativity and constantly innovating and created technology that went in this way. But it's really possible that another culture 20,000 years ago or whatever had figured out a way to innovate the way we have with combustion engines and electronics, but in a completely different way.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
so I think it's aliens.
aliens.
Yeah, because no one's outside. No, I don't. I think it's giants. Because, wait, hold on.
Giants.
Hold on.
I like Joe Rogan. I don't often disagree with Joe Rogan. I think he has a very open mind and likes to
Okay.
think different things. There is a second video to go with this one.
Yeah, look. I know it's AI, but obviously they didn't have cameras back then.
The Nephilim are mysterious beings mentioned in the Bible, particularly in the book of Genesis. They are described as giants and mighty warriors who lived long ago. According to Genesis 6:1-4, the Nephilim appeared on earth when the sons of God had children with human women. These sons of God are often thought to be angels, though interpretations vary. The Nephilim are described as heroes of old and men of great fame. Their existence was one of the reasons God decided to send the Great Flood to cleanse the earth, as humanity had become corrupt and filled with violence. After the flood, there are a few other mentions of giants in the Bible, such as Goliath, who fought David. The story of the Nephilim is intriguing and raises many questions about the ancient world, divine beings, and human history. While the details remain unclear, the Nephilim continue to be a subject of fascination and debate among scholars and believers.
It's fine, I'll send it to you later.
Okay. The fact that the quarry where the stones were made from was, what did Joe Rogan say, 500 miles away or something?
Yeah.
Right. If it was humans, I don't care how rich the Egyptians were and how many slaves they used or whatever, you would pick somewhere closer. Okay?
Yeah.
500 miles is a long way away. These stones that they were moving were heavy, big, and there were millions of them. Millions. It's not like they just had to get 3 super heavy stones from 500 miles away.
Yeah.
Talking over 2 million. You would do that so close. I also don't believe that aliens built the pyramids, although I do believe in aliens. I think you could be absolutely right with the giant theory. I like the look of that video, it looks really good. My problem with that is, if giants were real on that scale, no matter how many years ago it was, there would be some kind of proof, some kind of evidence of them. Like, so we would have found some bones by now. Just like we found dinosaur bones, which would have been from even longer ago. Right, because dinosaurs are what, like millions of years old? I don't know. We found dinosaur bones, but we've not found the giant bones that made the pyramids. So, here's my theory. back in pre-Egyptian times, just before the Egyptians, the human race was some kind of crazily intelligent species, right? Had forms of technology that to us would seem ridiculous and crazy and supernatural, whatever, but they took it for granted back then, right?
Yeah.
And then something happened whereby, like, essentially humanity had to start completely from scratch, like essentially from caveman times again. And we had to start all the way from the beginning. And we've just gone, like Joe Rogan said, a different route. We've gone down the creativity and innovation and invention route that's different, a different fork to what the Egyptians.
That's why there's like a difference of like BC and AD.
Yeah. And also there's been like hieroglyphics found where like the pictures don't make sense to what they would have had back in those times.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
watches.
Yeah. There's a second video for this one, so let's see what that one's saying.
Who do you think built them?
I don't think it's aliens. I think it's a race that died out. Every single religion on the planet has the Great Flood. Every single one. Christianity, Islam, Muslim, everything. So I think the Great Flood actually wiped a race out completely. And I think it was them that built it. You do realise that the Great Pyramid of Giza is an actual scale monument of 1 to 43,200 scale of the planet.
Why is it, Brad, when you say these things, I look at you and I'm like, is that actually factual?
No, that is true.
This
This is true. But here's the thing.
Wow, okay.
Here's the thing, Law. Here's the thing. You know the pyramids, they're the great tombs. They're not tombs. Nobody's ever been found in a pyramid. Ever. If you go to the Sphinx, the height of the Sphinx and the watermarks are so high, it was almost underwater at one time. So there's just too many things.
That is another really, really good point.
Maybe mermaids made it.
So as I was saying about the whole, like you were actually saying about the whole giants thing, there was a different kind of human species, like pre-Egyptian, right?
Yeah.
That was just crazy. We can't even fathom it. And like Bradley Walsh said in that video,
I've met him.
yeah, every single religion does have some story or another of Noah's Ark, the Great Flood, right?
Yeah.
And it's proven that the pyramids, the Sphinx, at one time or another, were almost completely submerged. You can see where the watermark is because it's corroded the pyramid and the Sphinx,
Yeah,
right?
because that's why the pyramids are like, you know.
For that much water to be in the middle of the desert in Egypt means that there was a massive flood.
But what you got to remember is it could have been like dried, and then climate could have changed where loads of water came.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that.
But not from a flood.
Again,
Forget me.
in terms of like climate change and whatnot, I'm a believer in that the climate is a cyclical thing, and that whatever's going to happen is going to happen because it's happened before. We've had dry ages, we've had ice ages. You know, there were once upon a time when the North Pole was desert and green.
Yeah. Some bits of Antarctica is green, but that's like the lower bit of Antarctica.
And even if it wasn't a flood, even if it was just natural water, sea, for the pyramids and the Sphinx to be there would have had to have been dry before they were built.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have started dry, build, giant, crazy, weird pre-humans.
Yeah, water.
Then water, drowning giants, oh dear. They all got swept away. And I mean, the sea, the ocean, is only like 20% discovered. Yeah, 5% discovered.
It's really not that discovered at all.
So the bones of all the giants could have been swept away. And in the Marinara, some kind of trench, which is like the deepest part of the earth. So,
Or it could have gone under the sand. Because
Could have.
Egypt's quite sandy.
So I feel like Holly's done there.
Are you ready?
I am. I'm ready already. You've made it this far, guys. All this video I've been channeling all the magic I can to make this possible. You know, I'm not light like Holly is. 23 stone. This is going to be a bit of an issue. But I can do it. Okay. You ready?
Uh-huh.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa! Don't fall.
Go further back a bit. I want you to try and see that my hands aren't involved in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1.
Woo! That's so cool.
Holly's tired. I'm drained. That's the end of another video. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, comment, like, do all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.
It really helps the channel, guys. So yeah, do that, please. Yeah.